uploaded the 2 videos of Rahina. You.
Occurred to me that he actually might have fallen in love with someone else.
Oh no, I doubt that.
Michelle?
I want justice to be served!
You want justice?
Yes!
Tell me, will you also want justice when they discover that Anibal, your own son, is involved in the death of Carolina?
Burudani tele, makao makuu ya burudani katika shule ya Joytown. Joytown Joytown
Kihalifani mweza kona hisi, kama kibaridi mweza kona hisi.
Ni vizuri mfahamu, kwa maumbile tusawa, msituone tusumu.
Mitandao inachangia pakubwa katika kudorora kwa maadili miongoni mwa vijana.
Mitandao ya kijamii imesaidia kuleta watu pamoja.
Mitandao ya kijamii imeweza kuchangia ulaguzi wa binadamu ulimwenguni.
Pandishe pressure mama. Weka dondo hili katika muktadha wake.
Haya ni maneno ya Dina.
Maneno ya Dina.
Mwanamke ameonekana kuwa mvumilivu. Alivumilia mateso yote ambayo alipitia.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is one thing we can always count on: the power of compassion and generosity. Every day, families in Kenya face unimaginable challenges and hardships. They struggle to put food on the table, provide shelter for their loved ones, and access basic health care. But today, you have the power to make a difference by just contributing 1 shilling and 50 cents from your airtime.
Good afternoon. Thank you for creating time for us. You are in time for the Lunchtime News. A very warm welcome to the broadcast. My name is Irene Mchuma Odem. There is a heavy downpour at the coastal part of the country in the county of Mombasa, and pedestrians as well as motorists have been urged to avoid Ukunda Lunga Road. We have able team on the ground. My colleague Junei Karisa will be joining us live in a bit, but let's interact on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Now we begin from the county of Nakuru, where we have just witnessed the graduation ceremony for the first lot of graduates at the National Defense University, and President William Ruto presided over the event. My colleague Abdihaziz Hashim is on the ground. Abdi, good afternoon. Abdi, good afternoon. Well, we would like to begin with you, Abdi. This is after the first lot of graduates have been able to attend the ceremony. This at the National Defense University in the county of Nakuru, in an event that was presided over by President William Ruto. Abdi, good afternoon.
where the Vice Chancellor picked it up from, where he said this was an historical moment for the institution. Back in 2015, they did receive the 2015. They started the conversation on receiving a university charter so as to deal prospectively with matters of security, and that culminated to what you're seeing right now is the National Defence University. And today it has held its first graduation, where 167 graduates have been accorded, or rather conferred, by President William Ruto, of course flanked by the Vice Chancellor, that is Major General Said Mohammed Farah, in terms of their masters as well as degree and diploma on various aspects of security studies. And of course that is where the Vice Chancellor also said they have heeded the call of the President, where earlier this year he clearly stated that the doors of this particular institutions in studying in these particular institutions that not only touches on security related matters but various other critical sectors, in order to ensure that the policy approach of the government is unified and of course delivering services to its citizenry. The CDF General, who is Major General, that is Ogola, talked about how the security sector is ever changing and that their fields, especially the studies they have here in this particular campus, is ever changing to the dynamics of security. You do know that security has even morphed to cyber security. Earlier this year, you do know that the Defense Cabinet Secretary, that is Aden Duale, was able to come here for a symposium that was hosted by the Kenya Defense Forces, also our very own information, communication and digital economy, that is Eliud Owalo. Over 500 participants were in this particular institution tackling the issue of cyber security. And of course, the President has also touched on how vital these institutions are to the country and of course to the territorial integrity of our borders. The President clearly stating that he gave an assignment to the students who are also graduating today and others who are still within the confines of this institution about how tackling the North Rift issue that has been a problem, not just for the security sector, but to the residents living around the valley of the North Rift region. And of course, we have seen a number of people dead, also thousands more displaced for
Thank you, Abdi, for that effort. We do apologize for the technical hitch. Abdi Aziz Hashim giving us an update from the county of Mombasa. This as the National Defence University had its first graduation ceremony, which was presided over by President William Ruto, and he touched on efforts to improve security in the country. Now we cross over to the county of Mombasa, where the region has witnessed heavy downpour, and this has affected quite a number of motorists and quite a number of businesses have been closed. Janae Karisa is on standby for the latest updates. Janae, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Irene Chuma. It's been 3 days of non-stop rainfall here in Mombasa County. Some might say it's a blessing. However, some might say it's a blessing in disguise. Now, roads have been blocked. Majority of the roads in Kisauni constituency, Changamwe constituency, as well as Jomvu have been blocked and have been deemed impassable. Traffic has been diverted to feeder roads, to the main roads here, the old Malindi Highway, so that the traffic can flow. Now, just to put it into perspective, I left home. It took me 2 hours to get to the offices because most of the roads that I use from Bamburi all the way to town have been deemed impassable, have been blocked. The drainages have been overwhelmed. It's really a hassle for most residents of Mombasa to get out of their houses. We have so many images and so many videos circulating in social media platforms on the true picture of the ground on how people cannot leave their houses due to the floods. Now, the drainage system, as it has been time and again over the years, has not been well placed. It has not been well planned over the years. It has been overwhelmed. However, 3 days is quite a lot of time for the drainage system here in Mombasa County to accommodate the flow of water across the county. However, the county disaster response team is working round the clock to ensure that the residents are able to get help in time. The county government of Mombasa has set up emergency lines for the residents to ensure that they can get assistance whenever they deem possible. Some of the residents have been forced, some of the houses have been submerged in water. That means that most of the residents tonight will not be sleeping in their household. So the county government is setting up rescue centers in the most affected areas, where is in Bamburi, some areas in Shanzu, in Changamwe constituency, to ensure that the residents, at least they get a place to stay, to spend a night. We are not sure when the rains will subside in this part of the region, because Kwale County also is experiencing similar climatic conditions. So we are not sure when the rains will be subsiding, but we can expect that this condition can continue for the next coming days. And if it does, then many people will be displaced, and the county government will be needing help or assistance when it comes to rescuing people. I understand that some estates, some boats have been deployed to ensure that the residents can move out of their homes and outside. But what I know is most people did not go to work for fear of padding through the waters to get access to the main roads. So that is the true picture of Mombasa County today morning. I experienced it myself when I was heading to work. We have been doing spot checks across the county. However, the situation is not looking any better. We are expecting a press briefing from the county government of Mombasa to tell us the residents what measures they have put to ensure that they are rescued in times, and those who have been displaced, where they're going to spend the night in terms of food, rationing, what assistance they can get. But we are yet to get an official statement from the county government of Mombasa on what is happening. But some of the roads, if you're using the Bamburi Road, it has been deemed impassable. So it is advised to just use the old Malindi Road all the way into town if you're heading into the CBD. So we'll be giving you more details in our subsequent bulletins. However, we are awaiting the official statement from the county government of Mombasa on the way forward for the residents of Mombasa. But as for now, things are not looking very well for the residents of Mombasa County. Irene, let me hand it back to you as we continue making our way through very many rivers, makeshift rivers that have been done because of these floods. Let us just hope for the best, that maybe the rains will subside. But if the condition continues as it is now, we will be needing so much assistance here in Mombasa County.
Thank you, Janae. Janae Karisa giving us an update from the county of Mombasa. This as the region has experienced heavy downpour that has affected quite a number of activities down at the coastal part of the country. Now, still on the floods update, Garissa Governor Nathif Jama has appealed to the national government to support with helicopters that will help in emergency airlift of vital supplies such as food, mosquito nets and medicines to parts of the county that have been completely cut off. Jama says some of the areas that have been completely cut off from the rest of the county are Gurafa, Shanta Abak, Baraki and Alikune in Lagdera sub-county. Others are Lohugo, Galmagala in Ijara and Fafi sub-counties.
Food distribution for Garissa Township as a start. All the IDP camps will benefit from this food distribution for 2,500 families.
Tatizo lililoko hapo ni kwamba mashamba yameingia maji, kwa hiyo hawa watu wamepoteza rasilimali yao muhimu ikiwemo vyakula na uwezo wao wa kuweza kuzalisha tena, kwa sababu kuzalisha chakula tena, kwa sababu mashamba yao yote kwa sasa hivi yamevamiwa na yameingiwa na maji.
Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service Felix Koskei has directed the suspension of 6 chief executive officers and 67 police officers over alleged involvement in corruption and procurement irregularities in their institutions. In a statement released by State House spokesperson Hussein Mohammed, the EACC has written to several cabinet secretaries recommending the suspension of officers involved in grafts.
The 6 suspended executives are Engineer Frederick Momati, the CEO, Tanathi Waterworks Development Agency; Stephen Ogenga, Director General, National Industrial Training Authority; Tanvas Ongalo, Acting Director General, National Museums of Kenya; Benjamin Kai Chilumo, the CEO, Huduma Center Secretariat; Peter Gita Korea, the CEO, Bomas of Kenya; Engineer Anthony Wamukota, the General Manager, Design and Construction at Ketraco; and Esther Wanjiru Chege, an accountant at Kera. The directives follow recommendations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for the suspension of the officers who are currently under investigation. Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service Felix Koskei added that they continued stay in office of the mentioned officers during investigations will interfere with and undermine EACC's work.
To security concerns, a joint police operation from both Isiolo and Igembe North Sub-County in Meru has recovered 141 herds of cattle that had been stolen from Igembe North and Igembe Central Sub-Counties in Meru County. During the handing over of the cattle to the owners, Igembe North Sub-County Deputy Police Commander Mark Bitok said the recovered animals were recovered in the neighboring county of Isiolo. Bitok said the cattle are among 400 herds stolen from Igembe North and Igembe Central sub-counties in Meru County. He urged the residents to volunteer information to security agencies.
Nchi hapa waweze ya kwamba kutupaya habari mapema na tena wajitokeze, wasiuje wakasema security hawasaidii, na sisi tuko tayari kuwasaidia mpate hiyo ng'ombe yenu yote. So far mpaka hiyo ng'ombe yote itarudi ndio operation tuta withdraw huko upande ya Shiolo. Hii ita represent hiyo.
All right, still on security concerns, 2 foreigners have been arrested and explosives used in gold exploration with a street value of 9 million shillings seized along the border of Kenya and Tanzania. Migori County Police Commander Francis Ngule says the suspects were transporting the explosives to an unknown destination using a probox when the police arrested them. The 2 suspects are now in police custody awaiting arraignment.
Hichi kiwanda unachokiona hapa ni refinery. Ni kiwanda ambacho kilikuwa kimeajiri watu wengi sana, directly na indirectly. Na kilikuwa kinahitaji tu fedha kidogo ya kuwezesha kipanue matumizi yake, na pia vile vile kiweze kutoa byproducts nyingi kama bitumen, na tungekuwa hatutahitaji kuleta lami kutoka nje, ingekuwa tunatoa hapa pia vile vile. So we are urging the government, hili shirika lisaidiwe fedha, lisimame imara, kwa sababu liko na asset zake sawa sawa. Likitumia asset zake linaweza kukopa pesa na likaweza kufanya upgrade, na hii kikaendelea hata ikasaidia mafuta ya Turkana kusagwa hapa pia vile vile.
Our apologies, the clip that just went on air is on Changamwe Kenya Petroleum Refineries Limited. And let's get back to the crime watch. 2 foreigners have been arrested and explosives used in gold exploration with a street value of 9 million shillings seized along the border of Kenya and Tanzania. Migori County Police Commander Francis Ngule says the suspects were transporting the explosives to an unknown destination using a probox when the police arrested them. The 2 suspects are now in police custody awaiting arraignment.
tuliweza kupashwa habari na wananchi kwamba kuna washukiwa ambao walikuwa wanatoka nchi yetu jirani, na tulipoenda tukafanya ile tunaita ambush, na tukaweza kupata ngari aina ya Probox na watu wawili ambao walikuwa ndani. Shukuru wananchi ambao waliweza kupasha polisi habari, na tuseme ya kwamba hii vita ya watu ambao wanapitisha vitu bila ile kibali ya kupitisha kutoka nchi jirani. Mnajua kibali na vitu kama aina hizi mpaka ipatikane kutoka kwa Wizara ya Mining na Blue Economy.
The judiciary has enabled the unlocking of 33 billion shillings through the use of mediation to resolve disputes, Justice Agri Michelule has said, speaking in Nyahururu town, Laikipia County, during the launch of court annex mediation. The judge, who is the vice chair of mediation task force, said billions of shillings that should be circulating in the economy are held up by court cases that remain unsolved for a long time.
The rest of the disputes are dealt with at different levels. They are dealt with in charge, dealt with at the OCS desk, at the chief's office, and all over. But we've released back to the economy a total of 33 billion shillings.
Four community forest associations living adjacent to the Mau Forest Complex in Narok and Bomet counties have signed a 5-year agreement with the Kenya Forest Service for sustainable management of the forest as they benefit from its resources. The Nyangores, Ole Ngureune, Olpo Musori and Nairota communities signed a 5-year participatory forest management plan to participate in sustainably conserving the mega water towers. As part of the conservation efforts, members of the communities have planted 225,000 tree seedlings.
CFN ambao wameweza kuvumilia kutengeneza participatory forest management plan kwa miaka 2. Simesema mmetengeneza for 2 years. Na muamini kwamba leo imefika. Hongera sana kwamba leo imefika, na tumeweza kuwa na documents, tumezi launch na tumesign agreement. Sasa tunaweza kutembea pamoja katika ndoa yetu ya kulinda misitu. Kwa hivyo sasa kazi yetu ni kulinda huu msitu, na msitu wa indigenous ni msitu wa maana kabisa. Manake huko ndio tuko na wanyama wetu. Wanyama wetu ndio wanatusaidia mambo ya uchumi kupitia tourism. Misitu yetu pia inalinda miti na mimea ingine tofauti, na hii ndio maisha. Hii ndio ina support maisha yetu.
It was not really for us. Tukipanda miti si ni manufaa sisi wote. Yes, nimeona the activities that have been stipulated in the management plan. Mnaruhusiwa kuchunga ng'ombe kule, inaitwa controlled grazing. Yes, kuweka beekeeping. Mambo mengine mazuri ambayo yanafanyika kule. Na pia kuna hii recreation activities, unapata hata mkiwa na ruhusa. Na tukitunza msitu vizuri, kukiwa hakuna issues za insecurity, tunaenda kule, tunapiga picha, tunasherehekea harusi, birthdays, tunaenda hiking. So tunajua rangers wako kwa msitu kuna usalama ya kutosha. So tunapita tu tukienjoy the environment.
To politics, UDA politicians from Lower Eastern Region have resolved to push for re-election of Mwala Member of Parliament Vincent Musyoka as UDA's National Organizing Secretary in the forthcoming party elections. Led by Kitui East Member of Parliament Nimrod Mbai, the UDA members said they also aim to raise the popularity of the ruling party in Lower Eastern Region to above 50% by 2027.
Tumekubaliana the 3 Lower Eastern Region counties. Sisi wote the 60 delegates from those 3 counties, we will put them in one basket and rally them behind our brother Honorable Kawaya, elder for the party from Murabika City. Yes. In our party. Yes. Because come 2027 elections, we got 20% of the presidential vote in Ukambani. No, this time we are not going for anything less than 50.
This is the team. This is the team. Sometimes we take a lot of time to fight over non-issues. And you know, in leadership, hata viongozi pale, wakiona mna chapana na vitu haziko, they get busy with the people who are united. A divided team cannot even agree on a simple thing like, what are your priority projects? Yes. Kwa sababu mkiwa huu group kidogo, group ingine, huyu anakuja na hii, huyu anasema hiyo hatutaki, huyu anakuja na hii, rais anauliza mnataka aje, hamjui mnataka nini. So it is not an option. We must agree that His Excellency the President has no other team other than yourselves, yeah?
Parents in Baringo South constituency are being urged to return their children back to school come January as the Kenya Defence Forces embarks on reconstruction of schools. The reconstruction of the schools that were vandalized by bandits will be conducted in two phases: the repair of the vandalized ones and construction of new ones. The locals have been assured of their children's safety.
Kwa Januari tumeweka watoto wengi katika hii shule kwa sababu hii renovation itaenda by January, itakuwa imekwisha kamilika,
ili watoto wetu ambao wameumia kwa muda, wakikimbia, wakitoroka kwa sababu ya banditry, wanapata nafasi tena ya kusoma na kukasana na kuendesha elimu.
One of the key areas tunataka tusaidie kabisa ni fence. Iwekwe fence kabisa ile mzuri, alafu usalama ya wanafunzi na walimu na wale wote wako shuleni itakuwa afadhali.
Residents of Kilifi County have been urged to take advantage of the current rains to plant fruit trees. Speaking during the Kilifi Annual Youth in Agribusiness Exhibition held in Tezo Ward, Kilifi Chief Officer for Crop Development Teddy Yawa noted that rooted for the planting of mango trees, they produce good timber.
Najua mti wa matunda kama kwa mfano mwembe, tutakupatia matunda na baadaye pia ambao utakupatia, kuliko kupanda mti ambao ni mti tu ambao labda pengine hautakupatia manufaa in the next like 10-20 years.
We planted over 1 million cashew, and this season we are giving 12,000 trees for cashew, and for mango we are also distributing 12,000. So far we've planted more than 700,000 through efforts of the county government of Kilifi.
A 27-year-old man accused of killing his elder brother's wife and her 2 children will stay in police custody for 10 days to allow police to conclude investigations. Alex Ayata Migosi was arraigned at Kisii Law Courts before resident magistrate Catherine Rono, but he did not take a plea. Prosecutor Job Okello told the court that they also needed time to do a mental assessment of the suspect. The suspect is said to have committed the crime at Nyabuogi village in Kitutu Chache North constituency, Kisii County.
Order of detention will not in any way prejudice the respondent who actually surrendered himself to the police. Therefore, the application dated 16th November 2023 is hereby allowed, and the respondent will be detained for 10 days at Rioma Police Station to allow further investigation.
Glad you're watching the Lunchtime News. We are taking our first breather. We'll be back with more news, including business and sports. Stay with us.
Kote nchini matumaini, tujitahidi, tujivunie, tuendelee.
Kenya, twende mbele. NCBA, go for it.
KBC GoTV Stream iko mkononi. Shows zinashika, raha ya kila mtu. Relax, kila kitu iko. Movies za ile mudu nadai. Series ziko na edge of the seat action. Na maestro wote una like. Mechi yako na sports action yote. Na watoije hata wao hawajawachwa nyuma. Wacha enjoyment izidi hii holiday na GoTV. GoTV Stream available from 1st December for all active customers.
Of course you didn't expect to find me here.
I'm tired of everyone judging me, saying that I betrayed the company.
At least I'm not the one who opened the door for the snake here.
You're just not caught.
What is this man doing here? This family has no idea that you are about to betray them.
What do you want?
I'm going to give you Uganda.
I see trans in the family.
Money is an issue here.
So this is personal.
Now we are on the same page.
Did your father send you here? Answer to no one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm coming after you with all that I have.
You've always been a scam.
Don't call me that.
You will never succeed doing anything in this world without me, Alice.
How do you manage to know every step I take?
Just need to understand the dynamics of the music ministry, and above all, even the journey of the worshippers and the journey of the people that you see on the pulpit.
That is how nilijipata ni kukunywa, ni kuvuta fegi, ni maform kila time.
Unajua life ya club, you have to just unajiwachilianga.
Believe is you know that you have the calling of God in your life. You are doing ministry, not necessarily looking at what you're getting as a reward from men.
And when you get the reward of men, there's nothing you will really ask God for, because you've already gotten your reward.
Welcome back. You're watching the Lunchtime News. Across the borders, Israel says its troops have found the body of a second woman held hostage by Hamas during a search close to Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza. Noah Marciano, a 19-year-old soldier, was one of the about 240 people kidnapped by Hamas gunmen during the 7th October attacks, which killed 1,200 people. Meanwhile, the UN says a lack of fuel means that it can no longer bring in aid into Gaza.
The Israel Defense Forces IDF says it recovered the body of Corporal Noah Marciano from a structure adjacent to the Shifa hospital. The announcement comes days after the soldier's death was confirmed. Marciano was one of about 240 hostages taken by Hamas gunmen during the 7th October, which killed 1,200 people. Israel's ban on fuel entering the Gaza Strip since the war began nearly 6 weeks ago has been a constant complaint of humanitarian workers. For the first time this week, a small amount was allowed to enter for UN vehicles, but it's already ran out. Mobile phones and internet services are down because of lack of fuel, Palestinian telecoms companies says. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Hamas commanders were inside the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza, but fled just before the military raided their site earlier this week.
Welcome to Channel 1 Business. The government has welcomed the partnership between Kenya Investment Authority and the United Nations Development Programme to develop and implement an investment facilitation framework and foreign direction investments attraction strategy. Trade and Investments Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano says the initiative will make it easier for investors to operate and expand their businesses.
Kenya targets to attract $10 billion foreign direct investment in the next 5 years. Foreign direct investment flows to Kenya have been declining in the last 2 years when compared to her peers Rwanda, South Africa and Serbia, attributed to, among others, lack of a seamless investor's journey. FDI flows to Kenya declined to $448 million, equivalent to 109.2 billion shillings in 2021, compared to $717 million, or 68.3 billion shillings a year earlier, the lowest level in the last 5 years. Kenya Investment Authority, Can Invest, and United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, have partnered to develop and implement an investment facilitation framework and foreign direct investment attraction strategy.
The investor journey in Kenya needs to be streamlined. It doesn't present a clear journey all the way. If an investor is in their country, how much information do they have, and the clarity of that information to even start planning to invest in Kenya.
Trade and Investments Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano highlighted the need for a legislative and regulatory reforms to remove barriers to investment attraction and institutional capacity development.
We need to strike a balance between the policy and strategic objectives of today, right? So we know, for example, tanneries and leather and so on and so forth, but we need to counterbalance that with the industries of the future. And those industries of the future, and attracting them to Kenya, attracting them to come and invest.
The government is putting in place measures to ensure that we operate in a predictable environment through policy intervention.
Kenya Investment Authority is also in the process of digitizing the one-stop center to simplify, automate and integrate investor facilitation services with other government services like eCitizen and KRA in an effort to position Kenya as a good destination for investment.
The One Start, One Go Center, we have NEMA and other licensing entities. We are now setting up investment hubs within the counties to also fasten that process of county permitting and all that.
And that's an area that we are already looking at. How do we
leverage what you have as existing infrastructure in KenInvest, in the separate digital hubs that government has, and promote interoperability so that whenever I go into government, there's no wrong window. Every door is a right door. You're able to connect back to KenInvest and get supported to walk through your investment journey.
Wairi Mujenga for Lunchtime News.
A section of engineers are in the county of Mombasa for a 4-day forum. This as they deliberate on ways to improve service delivery in the sector. My colleague Regina Manyara is with the engineers down at the coastal part of the country. Regina, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, Irene Mchuma. That is rightfully put. Indeed, the 30th IEK International Convention, the curtains have closed early this morning. And it has been quite the convention, so to speak, a myriad of resolutions that I'm going to be taking you through, including supporting education when it comes to matters of engineering courses, inclusion of women, and also enabling local engineers to practice across borders. To just give us an overview over their experience in this international convention is none other than Dr. Engineer Johnson Musinik, who is also the former PS at Transport. Good afternoon and thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. And good afternoon, viewers. I'm in Mombasa. We are in Mombasa attending the IEK convention, which started last Monday for the last 5 days. Now, it has been a very interesting, especially now that we had over 2,500 delegates from all over the world, African countries. We had some from Europe and so on. And then apart from that, we have the leadership of the World Engineers Forum. So I think this was something, a very, very successful forum for engineers.
Mm-hmm. Now, we had the President IEK actually mention some of the resolutions that you have come to. And this is about, ensuring that also local engineers can practice, beyond Kenya. As an engineer, what do you think about that move?
I think this is something very good. You remember way back, actually, engineers who are registered here will not be allowed to practice especially in most East African countries, Tanzania, Uganda, and the others. So I think the countries are coming together in terms of standards so that they can, when somebody has been accredited here, he can be able to work in any part of the African countries. And I think this is a very, very good gesture, especially for engineers, because there are many projects all over the place, and they should be able to work in those various areas. Now, also there is what you call Washington Accord. Again, that should be able to accord the engineers and also recognize the training in which engineers are. They are being trained on in this country. So I'm sure, as Kenya kind of engineers, we should be able to, within a year or two, we should be able to be. Our kind of application to be approved, and our training should be accredited, and also that give a chance the Kenyan engineers to be able to work all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Now, also there's been a question about capacity building when it comes to young budding engineers who, for some time, they practice, they go through studies, but they do not get to actually live out or make a living from being engineers. And this is a call to action to have those organizations that are supporting engineers also, offer this training, training of these engineers. Your take on this and how the impact is going to have on having these people practice?
Yeah, when you look at it in terms of training, I think we have many engineers now. In all the universities, we have the engineering schools. So the key issue which is coming up here once they finish, as an engineer, you can be able to, of course, expand and do the other kind of duties. But notwithstanding that, when you have civil engineers or mechanical engineers, they should be able to progress and make sure there are many jobs in terms of credibility and everything in that sector. Now, we are very happy. In fact, we had many future leaders actually who attended this conference. And I'm very happy again. There were some institutions which we mentioned like Kenya Power, Kenchen, and so on. And even Safaricom, they are really employing or giving internship to many engineers. And I think those institutions, we must be able to thank them actually, because they are doing a great service actually for this country and engineers.
Now, let me interject. Currently, we're in Mombasa, and the information getting to us is that the road, Mombasa-Nairobi road, has been temporarily closed because of the flooding situation. As an engineer, we believe engineers are there to solve solutions. What do you think we need to do going forward?
Yeah, to be very honest, it's not Mombasa alone. It has been raining all over the country, and you see there are floods. They can, flash through the roads and everything. But I think it's normal. But I think what is important mainly is to be able to comply with engineering standards in all these roads, and then again put down what's called mitigation measures. Say that should there be floods, what should be able to do, and so on. So I'm sure maybe there are some isolated cases which, of course, we can't be able to rule out. But I know the government, that is the responsible kind of organizations, that are taking charge to make sure that they correct us as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. Now let's hear from none other than Engineer Dr. Matu, and you're among the 6 who got the highest level of awarded the highest level of engineering yesterday evening. Take us through now. How does your title read after that particular award yesterday?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Yes, last night I was credited with that title for a category called accredited checker. And an accredited checker is a person who is in a position to review other works done by other members of the engineering profession.
Now, looking at it, we also saw the IEK President, Engineer Eric Ohaga, say that some of the proposals that engineers have come up with from this particular convention is to have, an advisory council to advise the government on viability of projects and also track projects that are being done locally. How is this going to work at ensuring we have good quality engineering work?
Yeah, that is going to work very well, because I believe they will take the people who are the highest level of engineering, who have been engineering and having good experience, so that whatever they advise the government will be able to take. Because an experienced engineer has gone through all works. He has seen where things can go wrong and where challenges are, and he has some solutions for that. And basically, the idea is to ensure that those solutions are given to the government at the highest level, and when the government now appreciates what the engineers are saying, then it becomes much easier. Yes.
Now, Engineer, before I let you go, there's the issue of pending bills. It came up during this particular conversation, and engineers say that this is actually edging them out of business. Your take and recommendations going forward, given that you have a task force that has been set up to deal with this matter?
Yeah. Thank you. That was a very good thing that the Deputy President and of the country and His Excellency the President have taken up to pay the pending bills, because most of the consultants and contractors really are suffering right now, because some of these pending bills come from about 2, 3, 4 years, and up to now they have not been paid. What has been happening is that we have laid off quite a number of our staff, okay? But if they pay now, we shall be able to at least bring them back and wait for other works which the government wants to do.
Thank you very much, Engineer, Doctor, and now one of the highest levels when it comes to the echelons of the engineering profession. That is an accredited and certified engineer there, Engineer Dr. Matu there, telling us about what the resolutions were all about, including supporting sound engineering, enhancing future of women in engineering, improving the engineering education, as well as addressing climate change. Now, in yesterday's gala, Irene, is that a young budding engineer was among those who were awarded for innovation. He has come up with an app that is using AI that can, triangulate where trees are being cut down using AI, the sound that the power saw makes. These are some of the stories that we have been capturing in this week-long international convention that has brought over 4,000 delegates to Mombasa and 50 representation from across 50 global countries, or other countries other than Kenya. We're going to be filing more detailed reports in regard to what the resolutions, focusing on engineering a new era, a new world, if you like. Now back to you, Broadcasting House.
Thank you, Regina. Regina Manyara guiding us through the resolutions from the 4-day forum that has brought together quite a number of engineers to the county of Mombasa in a forum themed Engineering Our Way. Thank you, Regina. Now, in other matters making headlines this afternoon in the world of business, Kraft Silicon CEO Priya Budhabati says the adoption of renewable energy sources will be driven by empowering women and children through digital literacy training. She was speaking when flagging off the next phase of the company's digital literacy training course, which has empowered children and women in informal settlements.
As the government works towards the shift into renewable energy, private organizations have been challenged to foster more partnerships and empower the youth who play a pivotal role in driving societal change. Kraft Silicon CEO Priya Budhabati says the organization is leveraging technology to enhance the understanding of clean energy and sustainability.
The foundation gives free ICT education to the less fortunate. Apart from that, we give them we create job opportunities. Solar is because we believe in Go Green. We have to make sure our environment is very fresh and clean. And other initiative we are doing is the sanitary project for the women in the prisons and for the less fortunate women in the country.
Through a series of digital literacy programs, women and children are gaining valuable insights into the benefits and implementation of renewable energy solutions. Priya says the initiative aims not only to bridge the digital divide, but also to create a cadre of informed individuals capable of championing the cause of sustainable energy in their communities. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Stakeholders in the energy sector are urging the government to support renewable energy players to aid the country in its transition to clean energy by 2030. The sector players say high taxation and long bureaucracy is derailing investments in the industry. Elsewhere, Jasiri Kenya has convened a meeting for entrepreneurs in the country to discuss challenges facing the sector. The meeting comes at a time when the world is celebrating the World Entrepreneurship Week. And here now are the details on this and other stories in the corporate briefs.
Kenya, already a world leader in a clean energy generation, is deepening investment in sector to help the country generate all its energy from clean sources by the year 2030. Already more than 80% of Kenya's total generated energy is from renewable sources like wind, solar, hydro and geothermal. However, energy experts want the government to lower taxes on the sector and offer more incentives to spur growth. This comes as M-Pesa Foundation Academy completed the installation of a 350 kilowatt solar power system at the institution in Thika, Kiambu County.
We've already saved over 2.5 million shillings in the few months it's been operational. And our projections are very, very positive indeed. In fact, we're going to get to a point where we'll sell energy back to the national grid.
The grid-tied photovoltaic plant entails the installation of 630 solar panels to generate power, which is expected to reduce the institution's power consumption from the national grid by 40% currently and 60% in the long run. Elsewhere, Jasiri Kenya has convened a meeting for entrepreneurs in the country to discuss challenges facing the sector. The company has already rolled out a new initiative dubbed Jasiri Talent Investor, which is designed to guide aspiring entrepreneurs from idea generation to venture creation.
We are helping young people from scratch. So, we are taking in individuals and churning out companies. Every 6 months in Eastern Africa, we're churning out between 15 to 20 new ventures that would never have otherwise been in the ecosystem.
Jasiri Kenya is an initiative of Alan and Gil Gray Philanthropies. The meeting comes at a time when the world is celebrating the World Entrepreneurship Week. Edna Murungi for Lunchtime News.
Now, there is need for collaborative efforts to safeguard collective investments and mobilize domestic capital to unlock opportunities in the equity markets. The Association of Pension Trustees and Administrators of Kenya, President Jose Akili, says the market performance has been experiencing a decline, which is causing jitters among stakeholders.
Losses in the country's benchmark index are deepening as Kenyan stocks experience a prolonged sell-off as top 5 Nairobi Stock Exchange listed companies by market capitalization sink to a 4-year low, with a growing trend among investors to diversify their stock portfolios. In a multi-stakeholder forum convened in Nairobi, the Association of Pension Trustees and Administrators of Kenya is now calling for mobilization of local pension funds.
The market performance has dropped by significant amounts, and most of it we have discovered is caused by, apart from the forex challenges in this country, the interest rates regime which has gone up, as well as the capital flight by foreign investors. Another major issue is because, as a result of that, the engagement of our local investors, particularly the pension funds, has been not as to the optimum.
That the funds that we are targeting, that we have come together here, they are local funds. Most of the best performing markets, and this is from our research, is that they have been supported by local funds. So it's a strategy that has been tried and tested, and given that the liquidity is there from our local pension sector, I think it's a strategy that we are adapting that is not devoid of the exchange rate risk. So I can bet you it's going to work.
Currently, domestic capitalization allocation from pension schemes to quoted entities hovers at 10.2% of assets under management, which they say is despite favorable valuations of listed companies.
Our market currently is trading at about 1,400 from an index perspective. Those rates were seen back in 2001. So we are certain that it's time for us to reset.
We are forming a joint task force of the entire industry, which is going to be driving the agenda on this matter. It's going to look at all the challenges and propose solutions.
Trevor Ngindo for Lunchtime News.
The Catholic Church, through its relief and development agency, Caritas, has ventured into the milk business following the launch of a 150 million shillings processing plant in Kiambu County. The plant is expected to benefit over 5,000 farmers in the county of Kiambu. The Catholic Church is expected to face serious competition from the market leader, Githunguri Dairy, which controls a major stake in the dairy subsector in the county.
The processing plant was financed through internal and external resources with a loan from Caritas Italiana and Caritas Ireland. John Jue, who is one of the founders of the initiative, said the processing unit is not merely a venture, but is a dedication to serve humanity. Bishop Philip Anyongo said the church is committed to working with farmers, encouraging those who have learned to cultivate and use it well, with the aim of producing enough food to sustain the families.
This commitment will go a long way in having open and transparent interactions when giving services, including marketing the milk.
During the launch of the facility, Caritas Microfinance said it has set aside over 500 million shillings to be advanced to dairy farmers to help them improve their value chain and increase their milk production.
We've been able to provide loans. To date, we provided loans to a tune of about 40 million in the last 6 months, 40 million. And what we've also done is to set aside about 500 million to target the farmers in this community. Adding
that the unit has started on fresh milk, yogurt and mala products and later to powder milk. Edna Murungi for Lunchtime News.
The governments will upscale capacity building programs and introduce cutting-edge technologies targeting small-scale farmers. Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization Crops Director Dr. Lusike Wasilwa says the move will help in promoting sustainable farming techniques and leverage technology to enhance productivity.
In In a move towards sustainable and inclusive agricultural development, the government has joined forces with Plantwise Plus to offer solutions to small-scale farmers in pest control and productivity enhancement. The Kenya Agricultural Research and Livestock Organization KALRO Crops Director Dr. Lucille Wasilwa says farmers from 35 counties have already been empowered to reduce the risks of pesticides in the food value chain. Under the program, KALRO will implement innovative strategies that address key challenges in the agricultural sector, which include improving access to resources for small-scale farmers, promoting sustainable farming techniques, and leveraging technology to enhance productivity.
We look at things like biological control. And in biological control, we use what you call parasitoids to manage pest solutions. For example, papaya mealybug right now, we have identified parasitoids, and we are working in collaboration with our center in Pakistan and our center in Ghana.
Wasilwa says a government will enhance capacity building programs for farmers, introduce cutting-edge technologies, and establish support systems for farmers to ensure fair market access.
We can reach even more and explain to people that you should not affect crop losses for pests and diseases. There's something we can do about them. So do more capacity building on crop health at the ground level, and this will be done by the plant doctors because they're already there. We don't have to take them there, they're already in the community. And then we're also trying to target, because many of our plant doctors have retired, to target retired agriculture extension workers or even researchers, even university.
It is expected that once implemented, the concept will boost agricultural output and also contribute to poverty reduction and improved livelihoods for rural communities.
Thank you for staying with us. Time for us to get to the sports news. 59-year-old Priscilla Biwott bagged a gold medal for Kenya at the ongoing 14th edition of the African Masters Athletics Championships at the Pilditch Stadium in Pretoria, South Africa. The event brings together master athletes aged 35 years and above. 10 athletes led by former world marathon record holder Patrick Makau are representing Kenya.
Priscilla Biwott, the oldest member of the team at 59 years, emerged the winner in the 5,000 meters race in the women's 55 years and above category after clocking 21 minutes, 15.88 seconds. Kenneth Mburu also won a gold medal in the 10,000 meters in the men's 50 years and above category after clocking 32 minutes, 46.13 seconds. Sylvia Chematui, being the youngest athlete in the team at 36, also won the 400 meters sprint after timing 56.18 seconds in the women's 35 to 40 years category. Elizabeth Mumiamase won the 400 meters race in the women's 40 years category and settled for silver in the 200 meter sprint in the same age category behind Hutchinson Shona of South Africa. Mercy Kipto also proved to be too good after winning the 5,000 meters women's 35 to 40 years category, clocking a time of 18 minutes, 25.68 seconds. The three-day event ends tomorrow. Nora Mwangi for Lunchtime News.
National soccer team Harambee Stars started their 2026 World Cup campaign on a sour note after being beaten 2-1 by Gabon in their first Group F match played in Franceville last evening. The team will now travel to Victoria to face Seychelles in their second match of their qualifiers.
Masoud Juma put the Stars ahead in the 40th minute, but the Gabonese came back rejuvenated in the second half, scoring 2 goals in the 60th and 88th minute through Dennis Bonga and Gila Kanga respectively. The Kenyan team, coached by Engin Firat, will fly straight to Victoria, where they will face host Seychelles in their second Group F match on Monday next week. The return legs of the 2 matches will be held next year in Nairobi.
In beside the Kenyan defense.
Meanwhile, Burundi thrashed Gambia 3-2 in the other Group F match. Ivory Coast will face Seychelles tonight in Olympic Stadium of Mbibe. Joanna Bwile for Lunchtime News.
Rising Starlets head coach Belden Odemba says they are optimistic they will perform well this afternoon when they face Cameroon in the second leg of the World Under-20 qualifier match at the Nyayo National Stadium. Odemba said they are under pressure to win the match, especially after losing 3-0 in the first leg match played last Saturday in Yaoundé. The Kenyan Queens need to win today's match by 4-0 to qualify for the final round of the qualifiers. The team will miss the services of 8 dependable players who are sitting for their KCSE exams. Starlets qualified for the third round of the qualifiers after humiliating Angola 10-1 on goals aggregate, while Cameroon defended Botswana 6-1 on goals aggregate last month. The winner of the match will play the winner of the match between Congo and Egypt in the final round.
Working well and doing our best to get the best results we can get tomorrow.
Kujipanga, tumejipanga, zoezi imekuwa poa hadi sasa tunamalizia. Kesho tunajua tutapiga hiyo mabao 4 tutapata. Fans tunaomba wajitokeze wakuja tupe hiyo support, at least tutakuwa na moral tukiona wamejitokeze kwa wingi.
And on that note, we have come to the end of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. For more details, do log on to www.kbc.co.ke. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your feedback on our social media platforms. Quick acknowledgements. Charity Rukembi, Conrad Opembe, Meshak Mate, Felix Award.